Thank you, thank you, thank you. So right about now, we are moving on to the next workshop. And we are having Dedoyin Ajayi in our midst. She will be taking us on mental health for Techies. I feel like I love the way the agenda is arranged. Like when you finish hearing, talking about sexual harassment and you are listening to mental health. So Dedoyin Ajayi is a psychotherapist with a specialist in emotional health. She is also a certified neuro-linguistic practitioner from the Academy of Modern... You're not clapping. It's certified, though. Certified. She's certified. Okay. Academy of Modern and Applied Physiology. She has a thriving counseling practice with an average of 28 hours per week and vested in both virtual and physical therapy sessions. So you see the previous session, if you had gone through sexual harassment or any kind of harassment whatsoever, this is the right person to talk to. Thank you very much. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, guys. How are we today? Okay, so I personally want to let us know that if you were doubting before whether you are in the right place, by virtue of what you've been hearing so far, I want to believe that by now you don't need anything to convince you that you're in the right place, right? Because the organizers were very detailed about the quality of people they brought to you. They were not just speakers that are out of reach. They brought people who are passionate, who are enthusiastic about the women community as well as the tech community. So you are eating good. That's my point to you. And I'm going to start by emphasizing two things. And the first thing is, it's very easy to come for events like this and assume that you've picked a lot, but in retrospect, you realize that you haven't picked so much because you were distracted for the most time. So if, for example, you find that right now your interest level is waning, or you realize that you're hungry or something is just causing you to not want to pay attention, I want you to call yourselves back. I want you to maximize and optimize this. I want you to be here and enjoy the rest of this event. Do not miss out on anything. All right? The second thing is, I'm going to start by establishing the fact that the mental health conversation is a continuous conversation. Did you realize that as speakers came here, there just was this constant flyback to mental health? It was unintentional. It did not have to be first. It was like interwoven into the subject for each session. Something about preserve your sanity, prioritize your mental health, and all of that. And that is why in the next 10 minutes, once I have 5 minutes more, let me know. It's a very short session. I'm going to be elaborating on something that has really, really bothered me, which is, of course, it's mental health for techies. That's the topic, but I am going to narrow it down to what's going to be relatable for all of us, because mental health is wide. You cannot compress the whole concept of mental health for techies in 10, 15, 20 minutes. That would be absolutely unfair. So I'm just going to narrow it down. And I want us to know that when it comes to your mental health, as a techie, you are more vulnerable. It has been proven with and by different psychological researchers. There have been conducts made for people in social experiments, and it has just been constant that the techies that were put in the social experiments came up with higher susceptibility to having mental health issues. And the reasons are not far-fetched. The reasons are not far-fetched at all. Number one, you're working with your system. your phone. By system, I mean anything that has to do with, social media, gadgets, and what have you. You're working with gadgets, number one. You're working with your mind, your brain. You are creatives by extension. In fact, before you can be a techie, you have to first be a creative, because by default, you are always creating. All right? So the tendency for your mental health to take a hit is very, very high. And so while we glamorize and romanticize the idea of having lots of women in tech, it is important to also iron out the fact that as a woman in tech, you are not only making money, you are also actively guarding your mental health. All right? And I'm going to tell us this story of a lady who came for therapy some time ago. I can share now because, ethically speaking, her file is closed, and with her permission, I share this. And she came at this time. She had deadlines in her office, a very top Texas. And at that point, when she came, she was no longer able to concentrate. She was no longer able to do anything. She was no longer productive. She was just struggling and just trying. And guess what? When you hear what happened, she for about 5-10 minutes, she was so embarrassed to say why she was in therapy. Like, so I know that this might not look serious enough, but I'm really just bothered and I want us to get. And I'm like, what's the problem? And she said she's going through a heartbreak. And at that very moment, I realized one of the very major problems that we have. We have this validation metrics where if this problem is not this big, it's not yet a mental health situation. And so it took her so long to just say, I'm heartbroken. They've served me breakfast in bed and my heart is doing somehow in my chest and I cannot function at work. Do you understand? So for her, it was a serious situation because she did not even know how to reach out for help. And that is one of the challenges we go through as women. Already there are so many sexist narratives. I call them sexist narratives. You hear people say to men, oh, stop talking like a woman. Oh, why are you talking like a woman? Oh, gossiping is for women. Or when women are talking, they are doing women talk. And now a woman is in tech, and now she has to worry about her mental health, and she's worried, this matter, is it even mental healthish enough? Did he even carry chest? Because it's just menstrual pain that I'm, hey God, why am I not working hard? Why am I not able to function anymore? And you are beginning to literally talk down on the type of issue that you have. So I'm here to demystify that to you. As long as it upsets your emotions, it is valid. Am I making sense to us now? It doesn't matter who you are, whether you are seasoned, a veteran, or you are just starting. As long as it has disrupted your system such that it has affected productivity or is about to affect it, it is valid. And that's on period. It doesn't matter whether people address it in a respectful way or not. It doesn't matter whether they understand the value that you are bringing in or not. The moment what you are doing is being interrupted by virtue of certain things going on in your mind, then it is valid. And I was very excited when the last team came here and I think it was, what's her name now? The woman from Patricia said they have a therapist. So it's been something that we need to be intentional about making a standard operation in our organizations. It doesn't even have to be a tech startup. Think about incorporating a therapist into your team, because your mental health at one point or the other would have a certain glitch. And what is the principle for this? Everything functional can malfunction. Do you understand me now? Everything that is functional can malfunction. So when you stigmatize mental health and say, oh, why would I have a mental health issue? I come from such a home. I was validated as a child. I should not have this issue. I have so much support. I don't even lack for nothing. and you realize that a lot is still happening with you, then you are worried. But the truth is, the same way everything in this room needs to be maintained, because if it's not maintained, it's going to break down. That's the same way even your mind, your mental and emotional faculty, they need to be constantly maintained too. Do you understand now? So, what then are the issues that many tech people face? The first one, which is the most common, is imposter syndrome. If you want to write, this is a good place to start. Imposter syndrome. I'm not good enough. I don't think I qualify for this role. I think I got the job by luck. I think it was just the mercies of God. And now the mercies of God that put you inside the job, you didn't even usually trust that mercy. But I should take you through. Because now you're just like so sad. You're just like, I cannot even do this thing, okay? They're going to sack me. So the mercy that brought you in will now sack you, sha. And so you see a lot of techies worried about their capacity bank. Oh, what do I know now? Oh, I'm not so sure I'm good at it. I'm not sure I can do it. And I always love to tell this story. It's even about a guy. I know it's a women's conference, but we can learn a thing or two from one another. And he reached out to me. I'm sure if I mention his name, a lot of us would know him. He has appeared in so many publications. And he reached out. He just got this very massive role. And then he freaked out. And, oh, somebody give me your number on Twitter. And I need to talk to you. And I'm like, okay, what happened? He said, so they just did the first, what's this thing they do in your company where they check you out, like after a month, like just to see how you're doing. Thank you. And then, because it's a foreign organization, the guys were like, oh, we are still observing you. And he said for the first time, they were not giving him a complete, well done, yes, you're doing great. He was like, I'm a genius in Nigeria. Show you the 1 minute. I was there, are you kidding me? What's going on here? Give me my pass mark. So he was so worried, like, oh my God, this is a major role. Why are they not celebrating me? Why are they not, what's going on? I think I'm going to just resign. And he began to have panic attacks. He could not open his laptop. You know, it was a complete mess. All right. The second issue that techies go through would be destination addiction. Destination addiction. The illusion that your happiness is in your next big break. Yeah. So you've forgotten how to be fulfilled where you are. It has become difficult for you to appreciate where you are right now. So they ask you, what can you do? You say, I'm still working at this small tech startup. It's just small. We just started. We're just like 4, all of us together. But I try. I built our website. Why are you doing that? And then again, my salary is not so big yet. I'm going to get there. And then 3-4 months down the line, there's this big deal going on outside the country. You are invited, and then you're like, oh my God, I just made it. And then you realize that the founder is a 20-year-old. Like, oh, this cannot be happening to me. When I start my own, I'm gonna be happy last. That's where I will. When I start my own, my self-esteem will now balance up. your self-esteem will never balance up, because it is not about where you are going. It's about who you are. Do you understand me now? All right. So the last one, by the way, if you observe, I'm not mentioning anxiety, depression, schizophrenia. Sorry. Those are big languages. And when you come for therapy, we talk about those things. They are underlying issues. I'm talking about mental health issues that affect techies specifically. Do you understand me now? And the last one, they've done justice to it. Because we are women, there's a lot of gender discrimination. And I'm not going to emphasize this point. I'm not going to sleep on it. You know why? Because sometimes we are our greatest enemies. I've had ladies come to sessions and say, oh, I just detest how that girl behaves in the office. She behaves like she knows it all. And I'm able to call you out. Like, do you realize right now you are the toxic person? Do you understand my point? So what are the 4 things you can do? What are the 4 things you can do to actually optimize your mental health in the tech space? What are the 4 things you can do? We've spoken about imposter syndrome. We've spoken about workplace sexual discrimination. We've spoken about destination addiction. So what are the 4 things you can do? Number 1 is find comfort in your value. Did you hear me? Find comfort in your value. You see, your mental health is a compendium of 3 things: the wellness of your mind, your soul, and your body. And because you understand that you need all these 3 faculties to function optimally, if you don't find comfort in your value, you are going to realize that something in you would constantly beg for anything that comes. Do you understand me now? Number 2, amplify the volume of your voice. You've heard this here and again, and I'm going to emphasize that, see, there is nothing as powerful as a woman who has not only found comfort in her value, but has mastered the art of amplifying her voice. So I'm not going to emphasize on that also because you've heard a lot about it. But the question is, how do I do that? I'm very shy. I'm this, I am that. I know we've said here that therapists are expensive, and I agree. You know, there was a time I would come to events like that and say, oh no, therapy is not expensive. It is. Because I would charge you. I worked hard, I paid hard for my certifications. I'm going to charge you. But I can assure you, there's a therapist for every budget. If I'm not your budget, there is somebody that you can afford. Do you understand me now? I work and I co-founded a startup that is bringing therapists together from all walks of Nigeria. And they are vetted. By the time the app goes live, you'll be able to book sessions at the push of your buttons. All right? And that brings me to the last one. Take breaks. Someone said take breaks. Rest is productive. Oh. Do you understand me? Rest is what? Oh, I need to learn this. I need to do that. I need to achieve that. Understand that without the break you're taking, you're going to burn out. And when you burn out, you will need twice as much as that effort to do what you are doing under normal circumstances. Do you understand me? You are as powerful as the breaks you take. Right now, I'm not on social media. It's a 1-month detox. If you go on my social media, I'm not there. People are still booking sessions. When you have value, they will look for you. So, also know when to take your breaks. Do you understand me? But please, do not join your ancient parents to tell you that you have to walk around the clock to eat. Take breaks, techies. All right? Love you.